What's up? Man, this song is full of riffs. Riffs. So many riffs in this song. What's going on, everybody? Had a couple of annoying fucking days. I'm looking to blow off some steam. So here I am today before you with my new used guitar. Let me get the comments up here. Chat, rather. Sorry, guys. Sorry. I seat my pants today, everybody. One person, tongue guitar. How are you? Nice to see you. So if anybody, we're going to do some metalcore worship today. Why? Because I got a new guitar. And this guitar, in my opinion, when I think of metalcore, if someone's like, what guitar do you think the second you think of metalcore? I would say an LTD EC1000 from the early 2000s with all the binding. And I love these guitars. I want to make it very, very clear. I love these guitars. I think they look fantastic. I think, yes, it's a ridiculous amount of binding, but I was looking at the new EC1000s lately, and they're not that nice. They're really not. Like, they've got no binding at all. It's, I don't know, man. I've always liked the look of a Les Paul with binding, so why wouldn't I want my Eclipse with binding? Aha! So today we're going to be going over a few different plugins that I think were sort of like the voices of metalcore. Not the plugin exactly, but the actual amp that the plugin represents. And my cat just got up from a nap, and he's going to be letting it rip with that ball. And I have no one to save me. The wife is still at work. She can't help me. No chance. He's going to be letting it rip. Oh, man. One of the best metalcore songs ever. Right here. My Last Serenade by Killswitch Engage. I remember the first time I heard Killswitch. Wasn't sure what to think at first. I was like, this is tough. This is, and then all of a sudden, the clean part came in. It took a little while to get used to that stuff for a lot of us metal guys. Some of us came around. Some of us did not. I had a friend. We're just gonna call him. We'll call him Corey. And he really, really hates metalcore. He was not about it. Actually stopped hanging out with like our friend group because he was so much not into like metalcore. He just like didn't come around for a while. So anyways, we liked metalcore though. I always liked it. I always thought metalcore was pretty cool, but it was like new metal in the sense that metalcore was only good. It was only good if the band was good. Then there were the hanger-oner bands that sort of jumped in that were garbage and faded away. Whereas like the OGs of every one of these, all these genres of metal, the OGs always hang around. The OGs always hang around. Or at least most of the OGs are still around when it comes to metalcore. Though a lot of those bands are still touring, in fact. Shadows Fall just went back on tour. As They Lay Dying. You can get, let's let it rip. Let's let it rip. What do you guys think about As They Lay Dying? So this is my early 2000s LTD EC1000, full of the binding on top of binding on top of binding on top of binding. So much. What are you doing? What is this cat doing? My cat is on a rampage right now. I don't know what he's doing. What are you doing, dude? I might have to go rescue him. It's very odd. I might have to save him here. Are you stuck? Nope. Okay, you're not. He's not stuck. He's just being a dink. Anyways, sorry guys. This is binding on top of binding on top of binding. It's a very thick guitar. I love this guitar. I had a buddy of mine lent me one way back about 15 years ago. He lent me one. And I just fell in love with it. I played it every day, every single day for hours, unplugged. I didn't even have an amp at that time. I had nothing. at that point in my life. 15 years ago, roughly 15 years ago, I had absolutely nothing. Well, actually, it's about 17 years ago now. I had absolutely nothing, not one thing. And eventually, so this guitar is sort of a personal victory for me because it's like I always wanted one, and they're not super pricey guitars. I got this. It would have cost me about 900 Canadian, but I didn't pay that for it. And yeah. Anyways, it wasn't an expensive guitar. Honestly, my dream guitars are all very realistic for me to be able to own someday. Most of them are fairly real. I already own one of them in my Paul Gilbert PGM. I waited around for years and years and years and years. So I found one for $750 US. And when the exchange rate was good and it had some dings and dents and I didn't even think twice, I was like, bam, I need this. I remember just basically having a fucking seizure when I saw that up on this guitar floor. So it came with EMGs in it. I didn't like the EMGs, although the EMGs are really very much that metalcore era. This guitar, I think there was a version of it that had EMGs. Most of them had EMGs, but then there was another version, I believe, that had Seymours in it, if I'm not mistaken, like cream-colored Seymours. Anyways, I just tell me that you guys didn't see a lot of this guitar in the early 2000s. They were giving away these guitars like crazy at LTD, or people were just buying them because they saw everybody else with them. And then when it came to, there was a few things that just like everybody bought, and that was definitely one of them, was the LTD. And the other, it was also not just metal, but it was pop punk. A lot of pop punk bands were playing these, and all the while 6505s over at PV were being given away at a rate unlike you've ever seen. There were so many bands that were PV artists at the time, 6505s and 6505 pluses being just flying out the door in those days at PV. How did they fuck that up? I still don't to this day understand how they were able to fuck their business up somehow, some way. I don't know how they did it, but having the 6505, so many people used it. And then what was in the middle of the 6505 and the EC? Always a green screamer of some type. Today, our green screamer is going to be taken by this guy right here, but actually we're going to use it just in the plug-in form. I'm going to use this as red, obviously, but this is basically... this is the X, the Maxon 808X, which was also very, very popular in the metalcore days. Very, very popular. So we're going to rock on that. We also have, for some of the newer sounds, we've got the Fortin 33 here, and I'm excited to be able to add both of those. Today I'm going to be just dicking around with a few different plugins. One of those is going to be my oh, come on, don't do this to me again. Oh, that drives me crazy. Oh, that's so irritating when that happens. I don't know why it does that. It just drives me mental. Anyways, I'm not honestly the smartest computer lad on the face of the planet. Slow stream today, folks. Chat me up. Come on now. What's going on, Mesorecto? It's been some time since we've seen you. Hi to everybody else. How are you? If you're in the chat, please do say hello, because hey, you know what? Throw out who's your favorite? Which is your favorite metalcore band of all time? I'd be curious. And so there were two amps that were really popular. The Mesa Boogie Dual Rectifier, and on the other side of it, you also had the PV 6505, or you had lots of 5150s hanging around as well. So those are the amps, basically those were the amps of metalcore. Yeah, I know Killswitch used a lot of different amps over the years, but I would not go and start talking about the famous, what did he use? The famous Cobra? If you'd like, we can go get the Cobra as well. My favorite, very favorite Cobra that we have here is Cobra. This is from Aurora DSP, and we'll add that guy to the chain a little bit later. Oh, we went to Ampcraft instead. Oh boy. Anyhow, I'm going to be trying this guitar out today. I took the EMGs out of it, and they are packed in a little box somewhere that'll probably collect dust until the end of time. Instead, here's what I put in it. I put in my Zed Labs, Z-E-A-D, if you're curious. He is a wizard based in Italy. He makes amazing stuff. Go check out Marco and Zed Labs, Z-E-A-D Labs. Check him out on Instagram. Check him out on Facebook. Some really wild finishes, and everything he makes is super high quality. He gave me these. He built me this set many, many years ago now, and it's been hanging around. I totally forgot that I had it. So when I wanted to put something else in this guitar, I was like, shit, I am not buying anything new before Christmas. And I have a whole bunch of pickups. Let's see what I got. I was real close to putting a set of Fishmans in it, but then click-clack, I was like, shit, those Zeds. And I honestly had them installed, and I had to install the bridge ground, which really annoyed me. Now let's tune this guy up. I am tuned in D standard. I could drop it down to C if that would make you feel more comfortable, because that is more of a metalcore tuning. But today I think we're just going to play in D standard and just kind of rock that way. I think this guitar is going to be in D standard for the rest of its life because it's big and it's fat sounding and really does wonders for that D tuning. Zed Labs, these pickups are amazing. Amazing. But I've actually tried these in a few guitars. When I first got them, I put them in what I call my average ass Jackson. And I have a little bit of a guitar, this seriously, I had a guitar maintenance, guitar modding epiphany that is going to be huge for all of you out there that have ever been in the same boat that I was in, that forced me to do the things I had to do. Anyhow, these pickups were actually in a few different guitars, and I have not lied. Didn't really like them in the Destroyer at all. They were too fat. Everything did not sound proportionate. However, in this guitar, so far, is so good. That much I can't remember. I honestly can't. It's the... Damn it. Shit. Thank you for asking, because now I have to go look it up at some point. It's his heavy pickup. It's the one he makes most... If you said it to me, I'd know. Kyle Hunter, what's going on, my friend? Man, what a shit couple of days. You guys ever have a situation where somebody says something stupid to you? Somebody made a comment about something that happened like 27 years ago. 27 years ago. Somebody made a silly comment about something stupid. It wasn't even something like, it was just a stupid comment about way back. And it just stuck with me. Like, it just stuck with me and ruined my whole day. And probably most of my morning today. I was just like, fuck. Arr. So I was eager today to come on here and get some positive energy. I'm gonna straight Highlander. I'm gonna straight up Highlander your positive energy. I'm going to take it. It's a beefy amp. And if you've tried this in the past but have not tried it as of late, I would caution you to go do so ASAP, because this fella over at WaveMind has actually done a really nice job on this plugin, on bringing it kind of making it a bit more current than it was currently. I might put a set of Aurora tones in here. I was talking to Cody about a really rad black and gold. I was talking to Cody at Aurora Tone about a really cool black and gold set, because he's got a new dual rail, and I really want to try that dual rail. And I'm feeling like the dual rail. He's talked me into it. Say that much. He's kind of talked me into it. But now that I've heard these in this guitar, I don't know, man. I don't know. I'm not sure. It's going to be a while, I think. I don't think he has a website for his pickups. I think he's straight up social media. Straight up social media commerce, my friend. And if you guys tell me the names, it's the something ceramic. It's like a ceramic. I can't remember the pickup, exactly the pickup. But if you were around in the old days, back in the days when I was doing my streams on a cell phone, like, and it was, I mean, the audio quality wasn't terrible. I think some of those streams still exist if you go way back, although that fucking cornhole probably went back and deleted all of them. So yeah, it's sounding pretty damn tough. It's pretty damn tough. I gotta get used to playing on a TOM again. I mean, I know I have the TOM style on my Iceman, and I also have it on the Lord. But trying to play like metal of any kind, it's just really different feel. But my dream bridge is my dream bridge are those like the Dino Kazari's Mick Thompson style when they just, it's like a non-working Floyd almost. It's like they drop a Floyd into a route and just fucking, and it's like literally just locked in place somehow. Some way. It's not exactly like that. I'm not exactly sure. It's like maybe it's a Kaler of some type. I know on the Ibanez Mick Thompson's there was that. I just for the life of me cannot remember the name of the bridge. It's not hip shot. Definitely not hip shot. Go look at any of Dino's guitars and you'll see it. You'll see the bridge I'm talking about. That's my dream, is to have something that feels like a Floyd with no maintenance and it doesn't move. Yeah, I've got the tremolo installed in the Rumblebee, but that's a bit of a pain in the ass. It's kind of a set it and forget it, to be honest. And it does, you can actually unhook it where you can use the trem and then lock it back up. But I don't want that. I'm never going to go pew, whip. There's never going to be a pew weep or a pew of any kind on any of these streams, because it's just so much maintenance, man. It's so much maintenance just to do pew, wee, wee, wee. I know, like a lot of the real serious Floyd guys are going to be like, what the fuck is he talking about? This guy's an asshole. It's so easy. And if you're really, really skilled with Floyds, it is easy. I actually know like 5 or 6 different people that are really skilled and they don't have no problem. Me, however, Floyds are just kind of... No, it's not. It's one of those... it's not. It's... I actually got a good look at it because they had one of the guitars at the local pawn. In fact, I'm pretty sure it's still there. I was going to buy it, but then the guy was such an asshole to me. Oh my God, he's such an asshole. I made a legitimate offer. It was not a lowball. I took a look at what they were, I did a good bit of research, went in there with a good, solid cash offer. And you know what pawn shops do with cash? Under the table. So yeah, I mean, but it was a good offer and the guy was such a dick. No bartering whatsoever, such a dick. And usually I'm like, man, you shouldn't be working at a pawn shop. You should go and work at a car dealership. Anyways, name of Dino pickups, the brand new one, eh? Dino Cazares just came out with a brand new pickup. It's an active pickup that kind of looks like a passive pickup. I love the look of it. I'm gonna have to try it. Didn't Dino Cazares have a set of shit? Didn't he have something else? Didn't he have a set of Seymour's before? Did he have a blackout? Was there a Dino Cazares blackout that I don't know about, that I can't remember? Also, haven't heard anything about Gus G's pickups. I know he was doing some sort of, he was doing his own branded pickups, but then didn't hear much after that. Anyways, Chris redid the entire cabinet section here. He went from scratch. When this first came to my attention, and when I first started working actually with WaveMind, was when I tried this plugin. I had such a great feeling of promise, and I had such a good feeling that this was going to be a company that was going to make some serious moves. And so I contacted him, and man, it's ever since then we've been pretty good friends, and I've got a lot of respect for what he's done with this plugin. This is kind of like his baby. It's also sort of like it's been kind of like his ability to low-key try things before maybe implementing them elsewhere, etc. And he did this cabinet section a huge favor. And when it first came out, it was just an SM57. That's all you got, was a dual-sided 57, which is still, to be honest with you, that's if you're a guitar player and someone's like, and you're like, what mics am I using tonight? And you're to mic up your own cabinet, and someone hands you two 57s. If you can't make that work, you're a moron. That's it. Or you're a cork sniffer. And you're just like, well, I couldn't possibly take the stage with anything less than a 414 and a 421, actually. So I'm not going to be able to make those 57s work. You're a fucking loser. If that's all you got, you should be able to make one 57 sound huge if you've got the skills with miking anything. I don't have those skills anymore. Once upon a time I did. Anyways, now, however, Chris had gone out and really made a huge investment towards his entire business, his R&D, his development side. He went out and he got all the stuff he needed to professionally treat his room, the room that he shoots in, and then he went and bought a whole bunch of industry standard and just maybe fringe standard mics like 421, SM7B, 906, 121, 184, and 193. I'm gonna be honest with you, I haven't used those mics yet. I have really only ever used in this plugin the 57, the 421, and the SM7B. Everything else I haven't really used that often. For me, my dream mic pairing is the 57 and the 421, so I'm kind of in heaven with those anyway. So I mean, I'm not too picky otherwise. I do really like a good 414 though. Oh my gosh, this sounds so massive right now. God forbid, there's another band that used, I think both those dudes used EC1000s. But just like, I cannot, like at that point in time, I was still a concert promoter. And I cannot tell you how many EC1000s I would see. And I was so close to buying so many of them, but just could never really make it work. Plus, I was always holding out, secretly just holding out for a black one. And then we had a conversation in stream. I think it was about it was probably about a month ago now. And during that, the EC1000 came up. I owned one other EC1000, but it was just that one that was, you guys know it. It's a puke. It makes me want to throw up while looking at it. But I said, nah, you know what? I can make it work. I'll make it work because, and it was a good deal. And I got it from this dude and I hated it. And it was that one that's like a matte black and it's got the really, really dark yellow binding. Nothing fancy, no like abalone shells, nothing. It was just, you guys know that one, right? That one was everywhere. I've seen that so many times since, and I hate that guitar. That was one way I was just like, it looks so bad. I didn't want it. So I sold that one real quick, and from then, another, I don't know, must have been 12 years ago. And so I was really excited. We had that conversation. I jumped on Reverb and went, whoa! And there was a whole bunch of them. I was like, oh, there's so many of them. I can't, there's options overload. But, and there was like 4 people in Canada on Reverb selling them, but just 2 were black. All right, let's talk about metalcore a little bit. For starters, what was the band? For starters, if you guys don't like metalcore, you don't have to answer. But if you're into metalcore at all, feel free to jump in. And I don't care if you're like super into, maybe into gent now, and you saw some people look at their gateway metal bands, like the bands that got them into metal, and some people are a little afraid to note those bands because they feel a little guilty, or maybe it's like it's not as cool anymore. It's like it's almost like people want you to believe they've been into the genre they're currently into from the day they were born. Nothing led me to this point. I just got straight from Raffi when I was a kid to extreme metal. Yeah, I started listening to extreme metal when I was fucking 5. Yep. Nothing, no lead up whatsoever. Well, what was your gateway metal band, metalcore band? If you're interested in answering that, for me, it's tough. I don't know. I'm gonna go ahead and say Killswitch though. Killswitch was just one of those. There was that band that just. They made sense. They sounded good. And what the thing I didn't like about metalcore is how all the band, it was really strange. It was one of the strangest things I think that's ever happened in genres. Okay? Hold on. A bunch of hardcore bands started in a hardcore scene, started adding some melody, and they started adding influence from Swedish metal. Okay, so they start adding the influence from Swedish metal, and that comes into hardcore, and then voila, we have metalcore. That's basically the long and the short of what happened. But the strangest thing is, all of those Swedish death metal bands, a lot of them started wanting to sound like the metalcore bands that were influenced by them, which is really strange because when you guys remember what happened with In Flames. In Flames, they didn't. Yeah. Well, you guys, I don't want to like piss on In Flames here because that was another band that was hugely influential for me. But man, after Clayman, Cloud Connected, brother, I remember hearing Cloud Connected and saying, not interested. And then again, Soilwork at the same time. They did Stabbing the Drama, and I wasn't really sure what was going on. But then a lot of those bands were touring together too, which was really cool. And I think the scene in general is really fun in those days. I was doing a lot of shows. We had a lot of metalcore shows here. So many metalcore bands came through this place. Very large bands too. Lots of them came through here, big and small. And a lot of them were real fun. And it was made for some fun shows as well because there were a lot of local bands. Because metalcore was so big, there were tons of local bands. And thus, when you have lots of local bands that you can kind of space out on different shows, oftentimes the turnouts will tend to work out not so bad. So I want to show you the song that I see Avenged Sevenfold. And I'll show you the song that I was introduced to in Avenged Sevenfold. And I agree. When I first heard this band, I was like, holy. Because I'll show you the song. If it's even on here. Ah, here it is too. Here's the song. The first Avenged Sevenfold song I heard was this one. And I'd never heard them. And at the time they were on Sub City Records, which was it was an offshoot. They were on, or something like that. It was almost in Sub City. But anyways, I got this CD from a friend that was working promo. They would just send discs to our house because it was punk house. They knew a lot of people would eat them up. And a couple of guys were doing zines and had made some nice connections. So this album came, and I thought it was a punk band. And this is what came on. This is about as melodic as it got, boys. And we were like, I remember hearing this song and being like, damn, this is going to be a good tune. I like the build up. And then the riff came in. Oh, the riff. Ah, so good. Here's the riff. That's fucking great. So good, dude. That's a great riff. And I really enjoyed that album, and I enjoyed the one after it. But then all the Guns N' Roses things started to happen. I was like, I just became so much less interested in the band because all that was just, it was just hardcore, like really hardcore GNR worship. And I don't mind worship of bands, but I just don't necessarily dig it when bands really like pull from a band too much. You know, if you're going to be influenced by a band and make it obvious, you don't have to make it obvious through every song for the entire album. All right, let's get to the comments here. All right, hold on. We're going to go back. Holy shit. Sorry, guys. Okay, did you... Yeah, if you go, by the way, to the Zed Labs Instagram and look or his Facebook page and look for different models of pickups, if you tell me the name of a couple of his pickups, I will know exactly the second you say it. So I'll be able to tell you what they are. He's also did a set for me for the Lord, my Yamaha Studio Lord. He did that set as well. And he had fun doing that set. He had tons of fun doing that set, he said, because he really enjoyed trying to match it. He wanted to match and make it look kind of weathered and everything, right? So, can confirm this plugin's the absolute boy. Nice. Thanks you. Appreciate that. I agree. He had Duncan Blackout's The Retribution set. Ah, okay. I'm just putting the mics on loudness. Speaker. Sorry, guys. Shadows Fall, Kill Switch, more for metalcore. That's it. Nice. I mean, hey, hold on a sec. Hey, Tyler, do you know about the new totally unannounced soft tube amp sims? I don't. But you bet your ass I'm going to be emailing. Holy shit, I can't talk today. I'm going to be emailing Stefan or Stefan the second that we're done here. Hold on. You're not going to get hate mail for anything. Everybody's allowed to share their opinion. I'm not going to call you stupid for it. They made... Hold on, what? Yeah, they made a 5150 amp I have the old school black and gold one. But that's old school black and gold. ESP Eclipse. Ooh, that's a bad boy right there. Shadows Fall Kill Switch. Okay. Tyler, I know this stream is for Metal Tones, but I heard John Mayer playing a signature plugin for him. What? John Mayer has a signature amp sim? He does not. John Mayer designed amp plugins are on the way. John Mayer, Universal Audio. Of course it is. Okay, well, it's a good thing that Universal Audio is finally starting to flex their muscles a little fucking bit. It's almost like they're the highest... It's almost like they're the Los Angeles Dodgers. And instead of going out and buying all the best players like the Dodgers do, because fuck the Dodgers... Instead of doing that, they go and like league minimum it and just rip their fans off super hard. Universal Audio, there's a reason I've never promoted their plugins. Number one is because they were tethered to their, for a long, long time, they were tethered to their interfaces. And because I didn't have $2,000 for an interface, and honestly, most of their amp sims went native anyway, and all the stuff that's native is pretty decent, and it turned out great. And then I know they became other. Now they're not tethered anymore, but now it's like their amp sims have a serious thing that I hate, and that is not being able to disable the cab and use your own IRs or really do much of anything. That's annoying. I don't like that, and I think that's super like 2010, not having a non-bypassable cab. That's I don't understand how people are not bitching and complaining about it. But I would like to try out some of their stuff out. Oh, wow. So he's talking about using this stuff like full time. It's about time, though, that like there are a lot of artists out there, and like Universal Audio has all this money, and then they've just never gone after. They've gone after lots of signature stuff with like studios and stuff, but like, where are the artists, boys? You know? If I'm Universal Audio and I'm their AR guy with the connects that dude has, I'm gonna sign everybody. I'm gonna sign the top artists. I'm gonna be on the phone all day negotiating these plugins. Like, but then again, artists also have to realize that a plugin is not gonna make you as much as like a signature amp or whatnot. It's more like a signature set of pickups. And for some of the artists that I've worked with that have signature sets of pickups, it's been very easy to talk plugin royalties versus pickup royalties, because the splits are, but the split is for software is usually way better for the artist. I really like, I really like Shadows Fall as well. I find they got a little, they how do I say this? It's really cool that all those guys, or a bunch of those guys, have like just kept on. They kept working though. Like I think there's one dude, if not, there was two dudes. One dude in Anthrax, and who's the other guy playing with right now? The bass player's playing with the rhythm guitar player is playing bass with somebody, and the lead guitar player from Shadows Fall is the lead guitar player for Anthrax right now, if I'm not mistaken. Which is pretty sick. Can you imagine? To be like, Shadows Fall is ending or whatever, and then all of a sudden Anthrax is like, hey, what's up? You want to join our band? What? The hardcore came from thrash. I sort of disagree. Hardcore came from punk. That's just the way that I grew up anyways. I kind of saw what was going on. Hardcore kind of came from punk and thrash metal. It was like punk rock and thrash metal, and there's groovy stuff in there too. I don't know. Hardcore is almost its own jam. But yeah, I don't think it came solely from thrash metal. I think hardcore it's definitely just punk dudes that wanted to play like metal dudes. And that's sort of where hardcore got started. And then I'm not saying hardcore dudes can't play like metal dudes, but that was the thing. It was almost sounded like metal being played by punk dudes. And that's not an insult. It's just delivered in a different way. It's way less serious business. The punk dudes playing metal that's also where like thrash will also reminds me of punk dudes playing metal, depending on, you know, whether it's like super old school or not. He plays crazy light strings for doing metalcore. They made the 5150? Really? So they added a bunch of stuff to amp room. Amp room. Here's the real question though, folks. Will they keep the Marshall licensing? Will Softtube keep it beyond January? That is the question. Will Softtube, because that's usually when stuff is up, is like the end of December, early January. We will find out. Oftentimes, you'll find out which plugin developers are now representing, and I know for a fact there are three companies. There are three companies that are changing developers this coming year, and I know of this because I've tried the plugins and bueno. And there are also, I would say, like 4 or 5 new companies that are now going to be represented in the coming 2026. Lots of amps out there. Driftwood is the belle of the ball, or at least they were at one point the belle of the ball. Lictalerm, I always pronounce that properly, but they're definitely one of the belles of the ball. Will they? A lot of companies right now, and the thing is, for companies, some of them are starting to wonder: do we do this as a dual branded thing, or do we go the route of Blackstar and do a thing in-house where we have somebody build it for us and then keep it in-house with no branding for the developer? And in those situations, the developer gets paid a lot of money, a lot of money to do that stuff. To ask a software developer to spend 1,000 hours building something, or hundreds of hours building something to not put their name on it, that costs these analog companies the big money. It costs a lot more. Are you just about done in there? Oh my God, he's digging at China. All right, I haven't played guitar in a while, so let's get some guitar going here. And so this is, again, my very favorite rectifier. I'm not sure why I'm turning on the Québécois today, but it's kind of fun, so we're going to go with it. I'm rolling back through Letterkenny right now. I've watched all the seasons a bunch of times already, but I'm rolling. It's been since I was pissed off that they ended the show, and I haven't watched it since. But there's a new season of Shoresy coming out on Christmas, and so I just decided to go back through a bunch of the old stuff and watch it for funskies. We also don't have to. You have to remember the amount of influence that bands like Slayer had on metalcore, because metalcore was predominantly, when it first got going and got some steam, it was predominantly an American sound. But then, of course, it grew to everywhere, and of course, there are huge metalcore bands from just about everywhere right now. Shoresy is an awesome show, great show. And the new show that they're making, the fella that plays Wayne and Shoresy, those guys are making a new show now called I Killed the Bear, as far as I understand, and it's going to star some of the people from Letterkenny and Shoresy, but also like GSP is in it, and there are some celebrity cameos, and as far as I understand, it's going to be like a bunch of bear hunters living in a camp. I'm not exactly sure, but it seems like it's going to be fun. Although I do feel that I really feel that they are going to bring back Letterkenny. I think Shoresy will probably have taken its full ride in a couple of. Yeah, he's probably got one more season of Shoresy before I think he starts getting bored of that show. It seems like that dude gets bored of things really quickly. Letterkenny was awesome, though. I hope they bring back Letterkenny because it meant a lot. It's like Trailer Park Boys, where it means a lot to people that live in those kind of types of communities. Trailer Park Boys, as dumb and silly as it is, it's for people that live in trailer parks, and there's no judge. That's kind of what the missus and I are actually thinking about right now. No judgment there. I'm saying that some people like that relation. People like being able to watch something like Trailer Park Boys that makes light of all the different stupid shit that happens in a trailer park, right? And so it's the same thing with people that live in small towns of like, 2,000 or 5,000 or 4,000 or 1,000 people that are just outside of a larger city. And some people like that show for that. And I think that's a fun thing to have. Ah. Arrgh. That's a great riff. I don't care if you like Megadeth or not. You cannot tell me that that's not a fucking great riff. My Darkest Hour, great riff. And I'm absolutely loving this guitar. It plays perfect. It sounds exactly the way I would like it to sound. I might need a small pickup adjustment here, but I think for the most part, this is good to go. Now, I wanted to talk about this amazing thing. Now, if you're a guitar modder, this is going to be fun for you. If you're not into guitar modification at all, well, then this is going to be a lot of fun for you. Anyways, if you've ever worked with a guitar, I think all of us have owned a guitar at one point or another that did not have pickup rings that involved the pickups that were screwed directly to the body. They called that direct mounting. Now, to do that, you need to drill out basically the mounting holes in the ears of the pickup. To do that, otherwise you will not get the bigger screw through there. Typically, they're quite small. Now, here's the cool thing. Well, actually, here's the shitty thing first is that I've one of my pickup testing guitars for a really long time was direct mounted, and so it would turn these pickups into less dollars when you're trying to sell a set of pickups like that or potentially reuse it in another guitar that you have. It sucks when they're drilled out because there's a few ways that I've tried to tackle it, and none of those ways worked out very well. Now, one way was gluing like a really small nut, gluing that with an insane amount of glue. First, you have to really scrub it with something abrasive, all the things involved. Then you put them together. And it would work, but sometimes if there was just the slightest bit of something it didn't like, it would just come loose and it would be super irritating. So I got pretty disheartened. I've got a pile of pickups up there that I don't use anymore because they've been drilled out and I don't really know what to do with them. So one of the other ways that people suggested that you try is taking a bunch of toothpicks and pressing them into the hole, putting a bunch of crazy glue in there and then snipping it off. And then having the mounting bolt would have something to grab onto. Also, didn't fucking work. So I was at my wit's end there. So finally, I thought of something. When do I have the bright ideas? And this did not come up anywhere. Not one place had this as an option. And so if you're out there and you have this situation happen to you and you want to spread the word, maybe I'll make a video. I don't know. But if you want one surefire way that you can fix it, I went and bought some JD Weld putty. Essentially, all I did was I smeared some of this putty on the pickup ear and then I just let it dry. That was it. And it turned into essentially metal. And then all I had to do after that was drill out a small hole And then the pickup, the mounting bolt grabbed on just like it was self-tapped. All done. And that's this set right here. It worked out perfectly. So if you're out there and you were looking for a solution to that same problem, go and get some JD Weld, and I can't remember the exact product name. It's a little tube, and it's just putty. And all it is it's two different types of putty that when you blend them, you mix them together really, 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 really well, they turn into like a steel epoxy of some sort. Awesome stuff. Awesome stuff. And again, thank you so much for that stuff for existing, because now I can go and mess with a whole bunch of those, or I can also, for someone that potentially wants to buy them, I could actually fix them and just let them know that, hey, look, this has been fixed my own way, but you can still use it. Maybe they'll take a little bit less money. So who knows? Give me a list of direct mount pickups you have. I'm looking for a set for my SG. Your SG is direct mount? No rings? Why? I've never heard of such an SG. Or maybe I have. Man, just listening to Paul Gilbert in the background has me like shook. All right, here's the back of the Rev. It's bold or spongy. We can do all kinds of fun things back here. I personally like the things set the way they are here. I noticed that he used the EL34s there. Let's go to the 6L6s. So if I want to go back, and I can get this. Take that out. This thing sounds so good. How many dudes with this guitar you seen play riffs like this? I've just never been, it's not that I'm not a fan of drop tunings. It's, if you notice, I've got this real pretty scar on my arm, and it made it basically impossible for me to play bar chords with my third finger. And so now if I want to do even like hammer on, it's super difficult for me. I can't even do this real comfortably, or that's not comfortable, but especially the second finger. Second and third fingers are really not comfortable, so I've kind of abandoned the idea of drop tunings, just because it's very uncomfortable for me to play that way. So I don't think it has much of an effect on anyone's enjoyment of the content here. It's just explaining why I don't use drop tunings, and I'm not one of those people that's like, drop tunings are for this or that. Meh. Loser. All right, guys, I'm going to take a quick break here. I'm going to come back at you for another, I don't know, let's see, an hour or so. On the other side, we'll use some different amps. If you guys have a particular amp that you guys are reminds you guys rather of metalcore, let me know on the other side, or in the comments here. Let me know. The 205 ones are direct mount. Nice. I will send you a list of things I have. As far as Fishman goes, I have a white set of Fishman nickel blades. If that interests you. Could use some extra Christmas money. All right, guys, I'll be back. Just give me 2-3 minutes here. I appreciate you guys. Like and subscribe. This channel would be nothing without you guys, and I certainly wouldn't have as much fun making this content as I do. So thank you for being here. I appreciate yous. Anyways, thanks for being here. Oh, what a fucking song this is. Oh my God. If you haven't heard this album, you haven't heard Morbid Angel Covenant, you gotta go and listen to it. You want to hear musicians at an ungodly prime? This is it right here. Oh! Man, those guys are on point. First blast beat I ever heard. First blast beat I ever heard was this blast beat right here. Little did I know at the time that it was going to become a thing with like every band. And man, I still to this day, I hear blast beats and I'm like, what? Oh, this is amazing. All right. It's just so many hardcore bands use the first, third, and fourth fret, and that is just a... Shit. That sounds delicious. Wonderful. What a great sounding amp sim. We've also got the amp knob Rev C if we were so inclined. We could be so inclined, but we're not going well, maybe we'll get there. We've also got the Ampcraft 1992. And you guys know this has made a lot of appearances, and you're like, why does he keep showing off the same damn plugin in so many episodes? Because I really like it. I really like it. I think it sounds really good, and it's a lot of fun. And I love 5150s. And if the one from Softtube is anywhere even close to this good, I'll be really happy. It sounds wonderful. It's a dark cab, though. I'm willing to note that this is quite a dark cabinet. And so we might... let's see what's going on here. I mean, I'm pretty much at where I would normally like to be. Let's go with the other channel. And I'll set this one up. There you go. That sounds delicious. And somebody asked me, he's like, why do you never use the recabinet files? I'm like, it's because sometimes I just go with what I go with. But if you want me to use the recabinet stuff, no problem. There's a wonderful sounding 1960B. I think it's a 1960B. And there's also a wonderful sounding rectifier, oversize. Let's see what we've got here. Sounds pretty delicious. It's sounding pretty good. Pretty good indeed. Ampcraft is the best block letter. Absolutely. There's not even close. I fixed drilled out by soldering the nut on instead of gluing it on. Yes, soldering it on. I can do that. I thought about going that way, and it's not a bad, and it's a good idea. That was my next idea. Was to scrape stand the other stuff off and do that. But I started I wasn't really sure if I was going to get it done the right way. I really just wanted to try this JD Weld rather. Wow, that sounds delicious. Sounds huge. And yeah, let's go to the bigger room for a sec. Yeah, that sounds delicious. I like that. I like that verb, but I'm going to keep it small. Keep it small. Let's go back to the cap for a sec here. I'm going to go 2. I'm going to go this, and we're going to go with this. And we're going to tilt it over here. Nope, that's not what I want. So let's go down to the 421 files and add one of the edge files. There it is. Again, the 57 and the 421 mixed together is just a winner. It's always a winner. For me, it's a winner. Sounds so good. Oh my God. I can wheel this back a tiny bit now. Fuck, I'm just loving this guitar so much. Oh, this guitar makes me happy. It really does. Super happy, actually. What about the Metalcore Underdog amp, the Frameless Cobra? I'm glad you mentioned that. I'm glad you mentioned it because we've got it right here. This is a simplistic version of said amp, but it's a gooder. Why do I feel like... It's a bit of the highs there. Let's take a little bit more of that. This is the bite channel. Now, it's not necessarily the most one-to-one Frameless Cobra, but it's pretty good. You're going to get it for a pretty damn good price as well, and it's got that clean tone. The IRs aren't bad either. Then there's Lethal. And the middle here. So if you don't like their cabs, no problem. They don't care. It's not going to break Daniel's heart. All right, that's cool. Let's go to Fatal. Oh, dual IR. That's getting there. I'm using this with an angle cabinet currently. Let's go and use it with a great Framus Cobra file cabinet that I used to have. I don't know if I still have it. This is going to be tough. Let's find out if I still have it. Framus. Fender Framus. Is it? Where's the pack I'm looking for? That's not it, is it? That's not it. Is this it? I don't know if this is the file or not. Dang it. I used to have a really, really good Framus IR. And I don't seem to have it anymore. Remember the Fredman impulses? Oh, man. Oh, man, the Fredman impulses. Man, back in the day, if you guys weren't around during the Sneap Forum days, oh man, when impulse responses first became like a thing that lots of people wanted to make, oh man, there were lots of, everybody, and there was like NAM captures, where everyone and their sister was like, I need to make one now! And a lot of people made IRs, and a lot of them sucked. But a lot of them were really good too. So, like the Catharsis, you guys remember the Catharsis impulse responses? We use these a lot. We use these a lot here. We still use these a lot here, and they still sound good too. Mixed wave milkman kind of guy, but I've got the Kazrog too. Nice. Early Sneap days were pure magic. They sure were, weren't they? What about the metalcore? Oh, sorry, yeah, the Framus Cobra. Yes, we did. We've addressed these. You like this guitar? Thank you so much. This is exactly why we're doing metalcore today, because at the start we were talking about this being, when I think about metalcore, this is the guitar I think about. When it's just someone says, like, if someone was to, even the last, like, years would have gone by, and someone could have just walked up to me on the street and said, when you think of a guitar, which guitar do you think of immediately when I say the genre metalcore? Immediately, I think of this guitar. It's like someone says to me, immediately, what do you think of when I say hair metal? I go to a Kramer with the banana headstock and a big old fucking some bright ass color with a single humbucker that's tilted. You know, those Kramer guitars are pretty awesome. But anyways, when I say metalcore, what is the first guitar that you think about? If it's not this, or is it this? I don't know. You tell me. And why? Give me some detail. So this is the Aurora DSB Cobra. You can get this for like $20 or $15 or something along those lines. Yeah, it's crazy how cheap you can get this if you are so inclined right now. And this dude, Tyler Dowd, name drop for Tyler. He's just such a fun creator to watch. Check him out on Instagram, Tyler Dowd, D-O-W-D. And he did a few videos with Cobra here, with that feature playing a lot better than mine, and probably a lot more relevant than mine as well, because my playing is not that relevant right now. I mean, we do a lot of talking here, but my playing is not supposed to be, and never ever should be, the focal point of one of these streams. Let's take down the highs a tiny bit. Everything has abalone. Yeah, I still find it so weird that genre defined by drop tunings chose a short scale. Sorry, damn it. It's just always cut off. It's cut off by the heart thing in the bottom. I really need to get a better, more efficient way of monitoring the chat. Something that's a little more, and it's not delayed either. Early Sneak days. I'm sorry. The LTD Schecter era. Yeah, it's so good though. But then BC Rich almost semi-recently did the abalone. They went and did a bunch of like abalone inlays, and I'm like, whoa! They did an iron bird with abalone inlays, and I'm just like, oh my god! Oh, I want one so bad. But people never sell those. They never get sold. It's like the nice BC Rich stuff. Make fun of them all you want. There's that one YouTuber, I'm not going to say his name, but there's the one YouTuber who's just hating on BC Rich lately. He's made several videos. It's like he's trying to do the Kiesel thing. It's like, like when everybody was hating on Kiesel, like, well, all the time. There's a lot of hate for that company right now. Yeah, there really is. It just happens. Now, if you want a free way to get some metalcore tones, we're going to show you. Freeway. Well, these are free impulse responses right here. These are the Catharsis impulse response. You can go get those for $0.00. Then we're going to go get this guy right here, which is called the Audiority L12X, and it's already set up to do mean things. We can use the impulse response that's built right in, and then all we really need to add to this guy right here is some sort of free overdrive solution. I'm going to use the shoeless drive pedal from Wavemind and Resington. And so let's see what we got. If you don't like that impulse response, no problem. Just turn it off and turn your own on, and you're laughing. Let's turn down a bit of the low end that I increased there. That sounded pretty good to me. I don't know about you guys. It sounded pretty good. This is a free impulse response load up. And these are free impulse responses that you can go and get. I'm pretty sure that I'm pretty sure these Catharsis impulse responses are still somewhere. That sounds awesome. And we're having a good time here so far today. Hi, my name is Tyler. Welcome to the Amp Sim show number 180-something, 183, I think. And we're just hanging out today on a Tuesday. Well, they were to be Telly Tuesdays, but I just decided that because I had this together yesterday, there was no way I could get away with not playing with it in the stream. There's just no way. It needed to make its debut. Yeah, it's sounding pretty good to me. I don't know about you guys. Yeah. So, again, complete domination from the L12X. Once again, as always, this thing is just so good at doing so many different things. If we want, we can go to the metal side of the amp. And yeah, there we go. Let's go to the metal side of the amp for a sec. I'm a little out. Little bit out. Little out. Little out. A little bit of play in these strings. I'm whacking on them a little bit, you know, too aggressively. So I'm getting a little bit of that wow, 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 wow effect. So I got to be careful with that. How hard I'm hitting it. That's free. And as we did the other day, you can also go to the get yourself the neural amp modeler and just load up as many pedals as you'd like. And we did that the other day too. So we'll go to pedals, and I want we've got bass stomps, tubes. Well, we got screamers, overdrive. What do we got for overdrives? Nothing in here yet. Have I not put anything in there? What's going on? Screamers. Ah, here we are. BBE, green screamer, plumes, switch 3, pack. We're going to go with the, man, we'll add a plumes. 3, hold on, level. We want level, hundo, gain, tone. No, we want. Wow, that's jumping up. It goes from level 50 to level 100. All right, well, you make a hard, you drive a hard bargain. So we just added the plumes. This is acting as a pedal right now out in front of this, and it's free, by the way. You can get the neural amp modeler for nothing. And in my opinion, if you're trying to use, a lot of people have been using our NAM Universal. That's terrific. But when you're using, when you want to use just a NAM pedal, I would strongly advise abandoning all other NAM solutions for just the plain old original neural amp modeler, and just put it in where you would normally put a pedal in your chain, and then go down to Tone Hunt and download your heart away. There's a billion pedals. Look how many I have here. Tons. Maxed on 808s. There's all kinds. So the Sewer Riot is in here. Okay, drive, level, wow. Anyways, you guys are well aware. Ah, here we go. Dead Horse, Bulbo D. I don't know that I've even tried this one. Let's try it. So here's without. And with. Sick. So this is $0.00 metalcore tone that you guys can go and get that for yourself anytime. Most of the stuff that you see in this miscellaneous folder here is part of the 7 Deadly Sins IR pack, and it's still kicking around. And if you can get your hands on it, because there's a shitload of really good impulse responses in there. But there's also a lot of bad stuff in there. I've also added stuff like the Barefoot IR pack from Resington. Let's use this one for fun. And you can get that on Tone Hunt as well. You go to Resington on Tone Hunt, and he's got a ton of stuff on there, or at least he did at one point. I have a whole bunch of stuff. He's down with the freeware, and he will make sure that you get some freeware, and then you know about the good freeware and how to make it sound good. Here's the Resington Big Boot. Yep, go and grab them. And you can use them all through the L12X here, and they all sound good. All of them sound good. Let's use the regular amp again here for a second, though. Yeah, nice. Why use normal NAM for a pedal and not NAM U? Because there's a lot of bells and whistles and all kinds of stuff on NAM Universal. You can do that, no problem. Just make sure you have to bypass all the other shit. Make sure you bypass all the other stuff. With the original NAM, there's absolutely no benefit, in my opinion, to using NAM Universal versus the regular NAM. And when you're trying to use it as a pedal, okay? When you're trying to load an amp, yes, absolutely. If you're trying to load an amp, pedal, and an IR, that's why we made NAM Universal, was so that people could have all that under one, because we found ourselves using this for the amp and then also using a second instance for the pedal and then also using our own IRs and our own ways to warm things up and fatten things out. Well, instead we just put it into a suite, and that suite is going to be getting an upgrade, enhance. So yeah, that'll be rad. However, this guy here is just going to give you the pedal. You know what I mean? You can even shut off the EQ, no problem. And you're just using the pedal. And that way it's just giving you the pedal. There's no benefit whatsoever to using NAM Universal in this particular application. This solution here, I love using the neural amp model For freeware, I love using the neural amp modeler as a pedal out in front of any freeware amp, whether it's the Emissary, the L12X, the Crunk, the Nosferatu. There's tons of them. Tons of really great free stuff out there now. And using this as your pedal scenario, that's great. However, that being said, there are also a ton of free pedals. Like, for example, in this chain alone, I can see the Sword, free. Embrini Audio Black, free. Greed Smasher, free. And the Analog Rack Delay, free. These live in the chain at all times. And they're that good. And that simple to use. So anyhow, red with abalone Schecters were very popular. Yeah, man, the Schecters, that's the other guitar. Definitely. The Schecter Hellraisers were definitely also, those were also red, definitely everywhere during like the metalcore craze. I have to say though, the metalcore thing, the metalcore phase was probably, I hate to say it out loud, guys, but when the metalcore stuff stopped, when that trend died down, a lot of local shows here just didn't draw the way they used to. I got out of it. I got out of concert promotion about 16 years ago, roughly, somewhere around there, 15 or 16 years ago. And that was roughly the end. Like, one of the last shows I did was Unearthed, and that was awesome. I wanted that. It was Unearthed and the Black Dahlia Murder and Suicide Silence, if I'm not mistaken. Those three bands, that was one of the last shows I ever booked. The last show I ever booked was the band called Neuraxis from Canada. That was the very last show. And I only did that one because they were friends. But I was done at that point. I did another one. I came back about 3 months after I was finished and did them a show, and then that was all that all rose to it. It's a tough gig, guys. It is a tough job being a concert promoter. And most contracts are structured for you to make fuck all. And unless you're a thief, and lots of promoters out there, they get a bad name because there are a lot of promoters that are skimming in some way, shape, or form, whether it's in cost inflation or other things. And I was never about that. If there's anything where I have to steal from bands to make money for myself, nah, it's not the right job for you, bud. Not the right job. So yeah, we've been, for the last little bit, just rocking on some free stuff, the Resington Big Boot IR, just going through some random stuff and finding fun things to use. I've got so many IRs, and I really just out of convenience, I often go back to like the one. But there's a few IRs that I like a lot, and I really need to start using more. And that one of those is the Mars Mofo pack from from ML Sound Lab. That sounds wonderful. So we've lots and lots of solutions. If you are on a budget, or if you have flat out no money whatsoever, no problem. We have you covered here. You will not have to pay $1 for the tone that you're hearing right now. As long as you have your setup, you got your interface, you got your computer. These are not even heavy on needs, so you won't even need a super fast machine to use them. All right, a lot of these are older plugins. And then, of course, this also, I missed this one the first way through. This is also free, and one of my current favorite free pedals, the Unified Preamp. Wow. It's just so, this guitar sounds perfect, and it plays perfect, and I'm so happy with it. And it sucks because lately, every time I get happy about something lately, something seems to go wrong. So I feel like it's only moments before something goes wrong these days. Right now, man, it's been a tough go. I'm not gonna lie to you guys, because you guys are pretty intuitive. You guys can tell when I'm not in a good mood. Today I'm pretty solid. But folks, I just haven't been feeling myself. So if you see the odd stream where I seem a little bit blah, that's just me trying to tackle the old big D. And if you know what I'm speaking of, that's the other thing I want to add. Around the holidays, some people like myself can get depressed. And if there's anybody that really just wants to chill in here or just lurk, maybe you're alone a lot during the holidays. That's never fun for anybody. Maybe you're not alone. You just prefer not to be involved with all the shit that's going on around you, all the parties and all the different things. Maybe you just want some downtime. And for you guys out there, if you need more of me by any chance, if even just listening to me ramble and just being in the chat helps you out, that helps me too. All right, so starting December 19th, I am going to be here a lot for about 2 weeks. I get 2 weeks off work for the holidays. I'm very excited to be able to come to you guys and have some fun during the holidays. I'm going to be giving away some stuff. Our 200th episode's coming. We're going to be giving away some stuff. Again, working on something potentially with maybe even an analog company to chip something in here. We'll see. So, yeah. Without Pod Farm. Hold on. 9 people now. Chat at me for about another 20 minutes or so. I'm here to answer your questions about metalcore. I probably could. I'm not going to Finn McKenty you. That guy's a fucking loser, huh? I've always hated that dude's content. So when he came out and said he was a fraud, I was like, I fucking knew it. I knew it. For all these years, I've been saying this guy's a poser. He's a poser that does videos that are solely 100% to prey on people fighting in the comments in the algorithm. In the comments, people just fighting and that just stirring up that algorithm. And I'm telling you right now, I've always known that dude was a fraud. Am I a fraud as a guitar player? Yes. I'm absolutely a fraud as a guitar player. As for everything else, that remains to be seen. All right, let's get back to one of the other non-freebies. That had to be gold. See you later. Speaking of rad bands that are no longer with us, The Rotted. If you guys have never heard The Rotted, Surrounded by Skulls, what a tune. The album is ad nauseum. One of my favorite. Some people call it hardcore. Some people say because the band used to be Goroded or Goroded. They were more of a like a grindcore band. I didn't listen to them a lot though. But if you want to check out a rad band, why am I not following them already? Yet I have their song saved. Weird. Anyways, check this band out. We're gonna listen to their album for the rest of the stream. This is a what? What do you mean you can't play it right now? F you. Oh, okay, it can play it. Crushing bass tone, crushing guitar tone, and a bad motherfucking singer. Also a terrific drummer in this band. This band is awesome. Check them out. An old metalcore plugin show without Pod Farm? Any knowledge of when V2 will be out? New year. January-ish, I'm assuming. And it's going to have a lot. Guys, NAMM Universal... Somebody made a comment that there was this other NAMM player that was better than NAMM Universal, and us over here, we were just like, oh yeah, okay, sounds good. We'll just leave it there, and we'll see what happens in the next couple of months. That's all I'm going to tell you. Let's get into the Rev C, because we didn't get into the Rev C. Let's turn the cab rate off. I've already got my own cab rolling. See what we got. Oh yeah. And we're gonna go old school. Dead Horse. That's another real metalcore. This thing is pretty steadily. I turned that to right where they said it. There's that little scratch there. That means that that's the ideal. That's the magic setting. Let's turn this up a little. That sounds pretty good. Sounds pretty dang good. Sounds pretty dang good. It does. We are currently using the fucking knob. This is Bagrin Digital. Fucking knobs. Rev C. Amp knob, Rev C. This is the oldest one. The very first one that came out, along with the bass knob, STD. That's a tongue-in-cheek one right there. I honestly feel that they should do an update on this one and add the boost pedal, and also add maybe the secondary cab options that they've offered. Yeah, that's basically what I think they should do with it. I really feel like this one could continue to sell, but I know there are a few people that didn't like the fact there's a boost, and all the other ones have boost in them. So I mean, you could probably go back and It probably wouldn't involve a ton of work for, the programmer, coder, etc. So I don't know. I think that would be a fun idea. So remarkably close to the original. Let's see how fast, let's see how close we got here. I don't really want to listen to anything but what we're listening to right now, but how close do we get? Oh, they remixed this album so fucking bad. Ugh. Really, really bothers me what they did to this album. They went and remixed it, and it sounds like garbage. If you're out there and you're the one responsible for remixing this album, fuck you. What it just drives me crazy. It's like when Megadeth went back and redid all those songs with using the same snare sample on every single album. Every single remastered album that came out from Megadeth, it was around 2005 or so, where they remastered the entire catalog, and it was like Dave Mustaine's like, "Yeah, man, you know that fucking snare sample that I really liked," and the producer's like, "Yeah, well, I want it on everything." What do you mean by everything? Like every song on one of the albums? No, every album. Well, that's an incredibly bad idea, Mr. Mustaine. Don't backtalk. You're fired. Get me the next guy. It was a terrible idea, and every album sounds like the same. Go ahead, go back and listen to all the remasters that came around that time frame. Anyways, Strung Out went and remastered that album, and the drums sound like they're using a fridge box for the drums. The guitar now was degraded by about 300%. It used to be one of the best guitar tones ever, and they went and just destroyed it. Shake my fist! Yelling at Cloud. No one said anything in a long time. I feel like I've lost the comments here. Oh boy. Nope. Didn't lose the comments. Just lost everyone's attention. That's all. Saint Anger snare on every album, every album ever. Oh, that's great. Even just the songwriting, man. You could tell when you listen to that album, what you're hearing. It's, what we've often talked on this channel when we're listening to certain songs, and it's interesting because when you listen to a band's prime and what is largely widely considered to be that band's prime. You listen to that album, and then you listen to the couple albums before their prime as well. And here's what you can hear. You can hear hungry artists. Then you hear band in their prime, and that's when their egos get pumped. And then there's usually one album that's with that album that's just almost at par with the prime album, but maybe just take it down about 10%. And then after that, there's usually it goes like that. And with Metallica on that album, you can hear a band that is broken. It's exactly the opposite. There are also a lot of albums like that where you listen to certain albums by certain bands and you can just hear a broken band. Whether it was arguments in the studio, one person that's just making poor decisions, one person's not playing very well, whatever it was, you can just hear a bust. That's an album right there where you can just hear a busted fucking band. Broken. Clueless, broken, floundering band is what Metallica was at that time. How that was ever released is crazy. Bob Rock must look back at that album and hate himself for putting his name on that. Must have hated it, because Bob Rock is not exactly a man known for bad sounding albums. He must want so badly to go back and remix that album. And there was probably something in that. I guarantee you there were fights during that process with Bob Rock and Metallica. I guarantee you there were scraps in the studio about that snare sound, about various other things that sounded like complete garbage. They should be ashamed of themselves. And I think they probably are. Because I don't think, did they play any of those songs live? Did anybody show up? Bop. From the Prague album was Justice. Yeah. Well, Justice was Justice, man. You could hear, that's again, you can hear Starving. Not Starving, they were very popular at the time, but you could hear they were right on that brink of just. And then they had the Black Album. And then Load, which was arguably... I didn't mind Load, actually. Load had a lot of quality songs. Something like that. Give me fuel, give me fire, give me da ba da ba da. So oh boy, he's going to pass the 12th fret, boys. Things are going to get weird. How often do you see me go up there? I've only got, like, I don't have a full license for above the 12th fret yet. I'd like to get that license someday. And if you don't know if you have the license or not yet to go above the 12th fret, you probably don't have it. Especially if you're a bass player. That's a very expensive license. In a lot of training hours to get up above the 12th fret of a bass. A guitar, there's things you can do up here, even as an intermediate or beginner player. There are some things you can do past the 12th fret that sound great. No problem. That's why I say I have like a partial license. I've got like my learner's permit to get above the 12th fret. But on a bass, it's a different story. If you're a beginner bass player and you're above the 12th fret, you got to tell me, what the fuck you doing up there? Get out. Go back to where you get. Go back to where you belong. Get back down there until you figure some shit out. Don't go above the 12th fret. Oh, you're going to learn some Chili Peppers, are you? No, you're not. Get back down there. Learn your basics. We wonder why we lose viewers on this channel. Yeah, we got a lot of good conversations out of this stream today. It was a lot of fun. Absolutely great time. Kirk's playing on Justice was pure fire. It sure was. It sure fucking was. That is when Kirk Hammett factually cared about the guitar. You could tell he stopped caring right. And say what you want. I don't care. Say what you want about the Black Album, but Kirk's solos on the Black Album were fucking spectacular because Bob Rock made him work and kept on telling him, nah, nope, no, nope, nope, nope. And just kept on making him redo it. One little off note. Nope. Start again. Oh, we're not going to record just half the solo. You can play the whole thing. You know, really pushed him hard. If you watch that documentary, Year and a Half in the Life. If you've never seen that documentary on Metallica, A.L. Levi went through it the other day. Not the other day. It was probably like a month or something ago, but he went through it. And it's invaluable. It's invaluable the amount of stuff you can learn as either a touring band or a band that's about to go into the studio. You can learn so much. This is like a 30-plus-year-old documentary, and you can still learn a lot about being prepared, about what it looks like in a studio. You know, and there are a lot of bands that like to have that, we're best friends all the time. Ah! You know you're not. That's why this whole thing with like the dude from Vitriol is so fucking stupid. Because if you think your favorite band, pick it. Pick your top 5 favorite bands. And you know what? You just picked 5 bands that have had major scraps and probably threatened to leave somebody somewhere. That's why everyone's getting on this one dude. It's like, yeah, this fucking shit happens all the time, but there are a lot of bands that just want you to believe that everybody's the best friends all the time. Yay! No, you're not. And so you get to see in the studio there where bands bicker about arrangements. Bicker about the arrangements. Yes, you have 4 or 5 or 6 or however many, 3 people in a band. There should not be one person that's just being like, you play this, you play this, you play this. And nobody improvise. That's it. Unless it's one person's like solo project, it's fucking stupid. I've written a lot of material for a lot of my bands over the years, but I've never once said, play it exactly like this. Never, ever. I always was like the type of person that wanted to write and then see what my bandmates would bring to the table, whether they were going to change riffs or elaborate or improvise or change something entirely or fight me on a certain arrangement part. That is what being in a band is all about. It will never, and there are a lot of people these days from a certain generation especially that cannot and almost will not be told that they cannot have their way in life. What do these people look like in bands? That's what I wonder sometimes. What do these people look like in a band? Because, I mean, when you get 4 people together in a band that don't want to get along and everybody wants things their own way, you might as well stop being in a band right now and break up and find something else to do, because being in a band is going to, with 4 people that constantly want their own way, is going to be terrible. However, if you get in a band with 4 people that want to debate and discuss and be part of the process, that's a different story. So if you're out there and you're in a band or thinking about being in a band, or maybe you've never been in one before, I'm not currently in one, but I've been in many, many bands. I've been around a lot of bands. So if you're ever curious and you have some inner band difficulty and types of advice, throw it at me. And I'm happy to jump on and talk to people about stuff like that as well. Because I think maybe there's some, or if you're a concert promoter and you'd like some you know, some advice of some, or, you know, you want to share a story, please do that as well. I welcome it. What happened with the dude in Vitriol? I'm not even going to get into it. Before Black Album solos were actually composed, they evolved. They told a story. I think the Black Album, honestly think the Black Album solos are some of the best that Kirk ever played. They're truthfully, like, I really do think, and there's a part in that whole thing where they talk about Kirk Hammett's solos, like telling a story, and he's like, I want you to take me to a place up here, and then slowly bring me down, and then just when I think I'm going out of it, then you bring me back up, and then take it all the way at the end, letting it fade. You know, like talking about solos like that. That to me is awesome. And that's the type of solos I always used to try to write as well when I could play lead guitar. Whether, it doesn't matter though. It doesn't matter if you're a shredder or if you're a beginner or an intermediate player. It doesn't fucking matter when it comes to a guitar solo. It's note selection, note selection. That's it. Okay? Note selection. How many of those notes you play, that depends on your level, your skill set. But I've heard a lot of people that can play real fast that gave me a whole lot of fucking note salad, and about 40% of the notes were total shit. Okay? So, really depends. I would rather hear somebody play slower with elegant notes and a really nicely composed solo, as Rudy was just saying, as opposed to someone just shredding the living piss out of the place. If you go back to the 80s and the 90s, a lot of guys were shredding, yes, and there were shredders everywhere. But you look at guys, there were shredders that were so talented they could sell albums to literally music stations and have them played on the radio with no vocals whatsoever, with just a guitar leading the entire mix. Something on a list of things that will never happen again. Never, ever will you ever see that again, I don't think. Where like Joe Satriani had like one of the #1 songs in the States on the radio, and there was no vocals in it. None. Zero. So imagine being able to play guitar at that level. That's what I'm telling you. I'm going to get out of here in a couple of minutes, folks. Thank you so much for being here. I really appreciate each and every one of you, like you know I do. So please do jump in there, like and subscribe if you liked this video. And you know what? If you're watching this after the fact, jump into those comments. Jump in there, start fooling around in there, you know, be respectful. Ask questions, say things. I will get back to you in a certain amount of time. How long? I'm not sure. If you would like to if you would like to email me, theampsimuniverse@gmail.com. It might take me between a day and a week to get back to you. But I will get back to you. All right, folks. Thank you. Thank you. And thank you again. So this is a winner. I have named this guitar Marcellus Wallace. And I'm not going to explain. I'm not going to elaborate on why. This guitar's name is now Marcellus Wallace. And that was the first name I picked out for it, but that's what it's going to be. And so it's going to be around. You're going to see this guitar a lot. A lot. I mean, probably like definitely more than the Mindsinger even. I don't know why, but I just fell in love with playing this guitar, and it feels so comfortable. And I cannot wait to do another stream with it and chug on something else. All right, folks. Thank you. Thank you. And thank you again. My next stream will be, as usual, Friday, 4:30 Eastern time, 4:30 p.m. that is. Saturday, don't know. Sunday, not sure. Sundays, there'll be something else going on Saturday or Sunday, but you guys can definitely count on Friday. Hold on. Jake Gideon in the house. Where did you get here? Oh, gee. I've been playing in bands with a lot of people who take debates about arrangement and parts very personally. Having to walk on eggshells in a band is the death of... Yeah, fucking right. That is one of the greatest things I've ever heard said. I'd like to put that in quotes with like a tree in the background and like a man playing a guitar by a tree. And just the last part of that. Say that again. Having to walk on eggshells in a band is the death of creativity. And that's not just with people that get fucking shitty about arrangements. That's people that are maybe, if you've ever been in a band with an addict, I have. If you've ever been in a band with an alcoholic, I have. Same person. And that shit can also be like walking on eggshells as well. Behavior, bringing your baggage in. It's like anything else. It's like work. When you hit the door, check your baggage, check everything else, and let it come out in the music. But that's a really good way of thinking. I think there are a lot of people, and I'm not going to say that I'm not going to say at all that I haven't been that guy in the past where I wrote a song or I wrote a part and had an argument because I felt very strong about that part. There's sometimes when I was in a band, by the way, I know we're on our way out, but that comment really stuck with me for a sec. There were times in the past where someone would be like, hey man, what about this riff instead of this riff? And I'd be like, shit, that sounds amazing. That sounds great. Let's do that. And then I would just forget about my riff altogether. However, there are certain riffs and certain parts I've written where, like, to get me to they were the hill I would die on. You know what I mean? I was going to war over that part. Not because I was an egotistical prick. That may have happened at some point in my life as well, unfortunately. But, sometimes we all get our tires pumped a little bit and have to get brought down to life. It happens. Or brought down to reality, I should say. But yeah, I've also been that guy in the band that's, I think that everybody, needs to be that person in a band where you're just open mind. Keep an open mind. Keep an open mind. And never treat anybody in the band like they're lesser than you or anybody else. Because, man, there's a lot of resentment, especially, oh boy, if you think, it's like, how they say there's like the happy couples, and then as soon as they start living together is the real shit. Can they survive after they start living together? We'll see. And then either they do or they don't. Living together can be the make or break for a lot of couples over the years, right? It's the same thing with bands and getting into a van with intention on traveling to another city to play your music. I'm telling you right now, you need to know the people and trust the people and spend a ton of time around the people you are going to get in a van with because there is going to be some shit. The first time you guys, your band gets in a van together, you might be thinking, first tour, it's going to be awesome. Yay. Sure, there's going to be that honeymoon period, but then second something starts, then things will go wrong. And that'll really put those relationships to the test. So if you're out there and you're thinking about being in a band, fuck yeah, do it, because being in a band is super fun and it's awesome. And play your music anywhere anybody invites you to play it. Okay, that's another thing. Don't be shitty about where you play. Just play where, if they invite you, if there's a stage or a basement floor and some people to play to, go and play there and have some fun. Play shitty venues, play basements, play backyards, play barbecues. You know what I mean? You're going to need to get some experience. So have fun with that. That'll be for next time. Let's talk about that next time for sure. See you guys Friday, 4:30 p.m. Eastern time. Thanks for being here. I will see you next time.